Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I am back with my priority TBR for 2022. 2023. Wow, I can't believe it. Oh man, it's gonna be a good year. So I make these at the beginning of every year, and I thought we would start out with looking back at how I did on my 2022 TBR. See how many of those I read. I usually put like 10 books on this list, so let's see how I did. So I'm gonna do this a little bit differently. Usually I go and watch the video again and then kind of react to that. But this time, after I posted this, my sister sent me a picture she made, and she's like, I am going to guess which ones you're gonna read and which ones you're not gonna read. So I'm gonna actually show that picture that she sent me, and we're gonna see how right she was. Okay, so I'm gonna put the picture up here on the screen so you can see. The first one on this list is The Autumn Republic by Brian McClellan. This is the third and final book in his Powder Mage trilogy. She guessed that I would not read it, and I did not read it. I can't believe I didn't get to this. It's been like 2 years now since I've started this series, and it's absolutely ridiculous that I have not finished it. I need to get to it. I'm gonna have forgotten everything by the time I get to it. But anyways, did not read that one. Next one on the list was City of Brass. She guessed that I would read it, and I did not read it. I can't believe it. This is one that people have been telling me forever I'm gonna love, and for some reason, I just haven't read it. But so far, she is 1 for 2. Next one on the list is Malice by John Gwynne, first book in the Faithful and the Fallen series, and I did read this one. She was correct. Loved it. Such a great series. She's 2 for 3. Next one on the list is Pawn of Prophecy by David Eddings, the first book in the Belgariad series. I did read that book. Ha! I did read a book that she thought I wouldn't, so I'm quite proud of myself for that one. So she is now 2 for 4. Next one is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I did not read that one. She is correct. She thought I wouldn't, and I didn't, unfortunately, which is crazy. I feel like I've been saying I'm going to read this series forever. But anyways, she is now 3 for 5, so not bad. Next one on the list is A Hidden Palace by Helene Wecker. I didn't read this one. This is crazy. I absolutely adored The Golem and the Genie. I can't understand why I haven't read this book yet. Okay, next we have Zodiac Academy, the first one in that series. She guessed I would read it, and I did read it. That is one that I read. I've actually read the first and second book in that series. Next one was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. She said I would read it, and I did read it. Absolutely loved it. Phenomenal book. Next was Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. She said I was going to read it, and I did read it. Woohoo! Very proud of myself for that. And then the last one on the list is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. She guessed that I would not read that one, and I did not read that one. Okay, I lost track. Let me see how she did score-wise. She got 7 out of 10. I think that's actually pretty good overall. She got 7 out of 10 of them correct. I am quite impressed by that. I think I'll have to ask her to do this again for this year to see if she can get a better guess than 7 out of 10 for this year. But I did, again, put 10 books onto this TBR, and these are the 10 books that I really want to read this year. I tried to put a little bit of variety in there so I could like change it up a little bit. The last one was like very fantasy heavy. I think it was almost entirely fantasy, and I did throw a little bit of difference on here this year. So I'm really excited about all of these books. I know I said that last year, but I feel very confident that I will get all 10 of them this year. We are going to start with the 2 books on this list that I don't own yet. The first one is Alone with You in the Ether by Olive E. Blake. This is the author of the Atlas 6, which I read and absolutely adored. I love that book so much. So I am really interested to read this one. I've heard people say that they absolutely love it. I think this is a contemporary romance, and I just think this sounds like something that I'm really going to like. I don't know why. It just is calling to me. So this one's gonna go on the list. I feel like this is the one on the list that I know the least about, but I just feel like I'm gonna love it. The other one that I don't own that's also on this list is Bunny by Mona Awad. This is one that I have been planning on buddy reading with my friend Angela for so long. She and I buddy read a lot of Dark Academia together, and this is one that's on our list and we're going to read, and I am really excited for it. I guess like a kind of a secret society or sorority at this school, and I have been told not to know a lot going into it because it's a lot more fun that way. So I really am trying to go into this fairly blind I don't think it's a very long book, but that it's very weird and a little messed up, and I love that. So I'm excited to see what I think of this book. She's already read it and loved it, so I am planning on reading this one hopefully early in the year. Ugh, fingers crossed. And the other contemporary that is on this list is The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. This one, again, I looked up Dark Academia, and this one came up on that list. I don't know if it really is Dark Academia, honestly. I think it's just set in like the high school age. But in this one, there are 5 sisters, and they all commit suicide throughout the same year. And there are these boys who live in the neighborhood, and I think it's kind of told from their perspective. I've heard it's really good, really well received. I really like this cover. I think it's beautiful. I like the rose gold aspect to it. And I am just really interested in reading this one. It just kind of draws me in, and I think I'll really enjoy it. Now we're jumping into the fantasy, as I'm sure you were all expecting and waiting to come. First on the list, I have Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I just think I'm going to love this book. My friend Sophia read it and loved it. She actually gifted this to me, and I just think this is gonna be one I really, really enjoy. I don't know anything about it, but she says it does feel very fairy tale fantasy-esque, and I have heard that people say this is one of his best works, and so I just think this is going to be something that I really love, really enjoy. It's also a standalone fantasy, which is good, so I'm not kind of jumping into more series with this, but yeah, this one just kind of calls to me, and I think I'm going to love it. Next one is I think this is the only fantasy romance on here, but that is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling in the mood for this. I've been seeing it all over TikTok, and I think that the hype is getting to me. Everyone is saying that this is an amazing self-pub fantasy series. It just feels like one I'm really gonna love. This is a new adult fantasy romance that follows this woman who has these forbidden powers and is seeking out someone to train her, and I think it's gonna be a romance between her and her trainer. I don't know. I don't love the cover, honestly. I think it's like pretty, but also looks like a little bit cheesy, but I think I'm gonna love it. I'm really excited for this book, and this was also a gift. It was a gift from Monet. Next on this list is a book I've been saying I'm going to read for a really long time, and that is The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is not exactly like a story per se, I don't think. I think it's a lot of collection of lore and history of the world of Middle-earth where the Lord of the Rings series takes place. I really want to read this. I think I'm absolutely going to love it. I love digging deeper into lore of worlds, and I've heard great things about this, and I just think it's going to help me love the Lord of the Rings world even more because it is one of my favorite series of all time. Next on the list is one I know I'm going to read soon, and that is The Witch and the Tsar by Alicia Solnikova Gilmore. This is my Patreon buddy read for the month of January, and I think the cover is beautiful. So pretty. I'm so excited to jump into this book. It has those kind of dark woods, cold vibes to it. It's this witch who is kind of out to get this Tsar because I think he is out to get like all the magic users in the land because they are now considered like heathens and against like the god and the church. And so I'm just really, really excited to get in here. I'm hoping for this very brutal, out for revenge witch, and I think it's going to be amazing. I am so excited for this book. Next on this list, I just can't believe I haven't read it yet. It's a little embarrassing because I love the first book so much in the series, and that is Master Artificer by Justin T. Call. This is the second book in the series. There's only 2 books in the series out yet, and I haven't heard anything about the release of a third, but I just want to read it. I absolutely loved the first one, Master of Sorrows, and I can't wait to jump into this one. I love the covers of these books. I think they're just beautiful. This is an adult high fantasy series, and the first one we're following this boy who goes to this magical kind of almost religious academy, and he's being trained in order to retrieve magical objects and bring them back because magic is considered evil and anyone with a deformity is considered evil. And it's fairly brutal. They'll like kill these people if they find anyone with a deformity or using magic. And so I really loved the first one, and I'm interested to see where we go in the second one. I have heard this is kind of a villain origin story, which I after reading the first one, that's not the vibes that I got. So I'm kind of intrigued to see where we go with this. Next on the list is one that just is calling to me, and that is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. This one I've heard is also kind of dark academia, but has a very strong fantasy elements to it. I think it's kind of historical fantasy as well, where like almost an X-Men type style, where you have this school for these magical kids because they're considered kind of outcasts in their world. I love magical schools. It's one of my favorite settings in a book, so I'm really excited to try this out. Plus, I think the cover just kind of calls to me. I think it's beautiful, and I'm really excited to try this one. And finally, I can't believe I haven't read this book yet. It's highly embarrassing because I've had it for, I think, like since it came out almost, and that is The Prayer of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Everyone loves this book. This book is like one of the most beloved books on the bookternet, and the prequel is coming out this year, so I definitely want to read this one so I can read that one. I got the special edition from the Broken Binding. Like, this one just needs to be read. It has dragons in it. I love dragons. I'm so excited to read this book. Yeah, I definitely need to get to this one this year. This one is like almost, I can't give myself an option. I have to read it. Okay, so those are my 10 books on my priority TBR for the year. Let me know which ones you think I won't read out of this stack. What are your guesses here? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new content. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.